So, shalom, everyone. Welcome to Jerusalem, the eternal capital of Israel, of the Jewish people, but of all faiths, all Abrahamic faiths. I heard that you are from 28 countries here today in this room when Israel is still at war in the north, in the south. We haven't finished in the south our job, and also with Iran. So, on behalf of the people of Israel, Jews around the world, thank you for pausing your life and coming here, because we need you in these days. We need you more than ever, and we're going to speak about that today. You know the reality of Jewish communities in your countries, in your communities, is not easy for us. But it hasn't been easy for us in the past 2,000 years. It's not easy to be Jewish, because we bear a deep responsibility of our history, of our past, of the past of the world, of the history of the world. We've been recognized by God on a very early stage. And we build the world from stone to stone, from step to step. And today we pay the price of rejecting the past. Today I will speak about the past, the present, and the future. Do we have a chess player in the room? Someone plays chess? Great. So I have many chess players. One of the rules in chess is to be able to understand your previous move. If you want to understand where you stand in a chessboard, you need to know what you did before, because your enemy is planning the next step. He's looking at you, what you did before, where you stand right now, but he's thinking also where you go. And if you don't know yourself where you go, so you don't know where you are. And if you don't know where you go, probably you don't know where you have been as well. This is the chess game, but it's also our life game. This is my life as a Jew, but this is your life as humans. To be able to know where you go, you need to be able to know where you stand, where you are. But you don't know where you are if you don't know the past of everything. And the big question I'm asking myself is, what is my story? Where am I coming from? And I would like to share a little bit of my own story as a Jew that is not unique for other Jews, but for me is my own story, and something that one of my grandfather told me, a survivor of the Holocaust. He told me, they can take everything from you. They can take your money, your houses, they can take everything. What they cannot take from you is your religion, is your belief, and your history. And that's something that I take from my grandfather always. And that shaped who I am today. Because when I look at my present, it's built from my past. And when I look at my present, is what I'm going to do in the future as well. So that's very important. So if I start from my own family history, my family comes from Poland, both sides. They moved to Belgium early before Second World War II because of the pogroms, antisemitism, rejection, intimidation, killings, and they arrived in Belgium. They were grateful to arrive. That was a good immigration. Jews arrived in Belgium to work. Belgium needed workforces, and they arrived there by thousands. They arrived, they learned the language, they spoke French, they live in Belgium. They were proud Belgian Jews that escaped the pogroms. They were grateful to the King of Belgium, to the people of Belgium, to welcome them open arms. But then the war started. And during the war, we saw two things. We saw a society unable to detect early signs of threats, early signs of change, and early signs of disaster coming to them. The same signs that we see today. Then two of my great-grandfathers were sent to the gas chambers in Auschwitz-Birkenau, and the rest of my family was saved by righteous among the nation. Righteous among the nation, if you don't know the term, is a term that was set up by Yad Vashem, the National Holocaust Museum of Israel, to recognize the non-Jews that risked their life to save Jews during the war. I think Yad Vashem today recognizes over close to 30,000 righteous among the nations, and two families in Belgium risked their life to save my grandparents. And when I look at this story, I'm thinking, why they wait so long? Could we have been righteous among the nation without risking our life like today? Because today we are in this space. We can fight back without risking our life. without waiting that the enemies will take over of nations or countries. But in time of darkness, we have righteous among the nations. I think that you're all, at least for the Jewish people, all righteous among the nations in your everyday battle. And I hear your prayer, I hear your first speech. Yes, you are the voices that we didn't have in 1933, in 1939, in 1940. We didn't have these voices standing up, coming to Jerusalem. We didn't have a country. So I realize that today the righteous are you, but we have an opportunity to not be just 30,000, to be 1 million, 2 million of righteous, because we need to stand up. We need to build communities that will protect our future. Now, the second part, after the war, my family continued to be proud Belgian Jew because they were saved by Belgians that stood up for them. We have someone from Belgium, by the way? Yeah, you see what's happening in Belgium, right? Capital of Europe, capital of antisemitism, capital of extremism, and the European capital of radical Islam. Sorry for that. But then I was a young Belgian Jew, grew up in a Jewish family, like any other Belgian Jew. And I was playing basketball in Maccabi, Brussels. We were a young team, I was like 12 years old, and we're pretty good. Kind of young Jews in Belgium playing basketball was nice, but not everyone liked that. Some of the team didn't like that Jews were good at basketball. Like, Jews are not good, like usually if you look at the pictures, we have big nose, we are fat, and we're not good at sports. And they didn't like that Jews were good at sport. And the first time in my life, at the age of 12, I heard dirty Jews. 12 years old, come on. Then you go back home, and you tell that your mother, your father, you have your grandparent that is an Holocaust survivor, that's he heard the same at the time, was like 60 years ago. Come on, guys, so fast. 60 years it took you to forget the past. 60 years, that's it. Where is your past, my friends? And then the community, because a lot of people speak Jews are together, they're isolated. Yes, we are isolated. Because when you have kids of 12 years old coming back home, insulted, discriminated, what do you think he will do? He will go to his parents, the grandparents that saw that 60 years ago. So we build communities, but we don't forget our past, and then we build education, and then others will look at us, you are isolated, you influence, you can make money or whatever. Yes, we do that because we look at education, we look at the past, we build our future, our communities, our generation, and we keep our identity. And that's upset a lot of people. But then moving on, age of 16, second intifada, as Chris mentioned, Chris, I can call you Chris, mentioned, and I was in a non-Jewish school at the time. And then my peers came to me and told me, Sacha, why you kill Palestinians? I look at them and say, I'm in the classroom with you guys, come on. I don't kill anyone. Say, yeah, the Israelis, the Zionists, or whatever. And I go, no, not whatever, I'm with you. We are like Belgian Jew, I'm Belgium with you. And you hear now, not dirty Jews, but dirty Zionists. And I was a proud Belgian Jew, and really I love my country, I love my king, I love everything there. And then you realize that your identity is not just what you tell to yourself. It's what others look at you and change who you are. And that touched me deeply, so I took my luggage and I moved to Israel. So you don't want me here, you're gonna see me here in the Holy Land. And there I built my life. I served in the IDF, in the Israeli army for 6 years. And in the Israeli army, my first position, I was in a Nachal Brigade, a battalion, and we were in the Palestinian territories in Jenin, in Tulkarem. And then I see another story, the story of the Palestinian antisemitism that starts from this place, where I was in Jenin, which doesn't look good. It doesn't look developed. And if you are a Western European, you go there, it touched you. It touched me as an Israeli, but then you look at the walls, posters of terrorists everywhere. The same posters that was tried to defend Israel during the Second Intifada, these are the guys that are their heroes. Then you ask yourself, okay, how they build a society based on terror, based on honoring those that are killing Jews? And then you realize that it's in the textbook, it's in the street, it's their language, it's everywhere. Then the other thing that you start seeing is the kafia. You probably saw the kafia, the Palestinian kafia in demonstrations. It's the same kafia that the Palestinian terrorists use in Jenin, in Shrem, in Gaza, everywhere. But then where they appear? In our streets. And then you make the connection between Palestinian terrorism and modern anti-Semitism. But it takes time. What it takes foreign nations investing billions of dollars, exporting the ideology from a very small territory, from Gaza, from Palestinian territory, to the West. Because what exactly Chris said, everyone finds their own Jew to hate, the Zionists to hate. Kind of, you say the capitalists find the communists in the Jew, like everyone find in one type of Jew is enemy. And they explore that. They use it to fragment the West. And this is what we see today in our streets. It's a conflict, a small conflict that's been used right now to destroy the Western nations. Now, I have 5 more minutes and I would like to go, we speak about the past, and I would like to speak for a few minutes about what the past of the Jewish people have built to this world, have brought to this world. And something I'm doing every week, I'm reading the Bible, the Jewish Bible, the weekly parasha, the weekly section, that every week we read the book again and again, and you know that. And sometimes I'm shocked about how the past is identical to today. And the first thing last week was the parasha, the Torah section Shlach, that speaks about Moses sending 12 spies to the land of Israel, to Canaan, to look at the land and to come back after 40 days to tell him if the Jewish people is ready to move on, to move to the promised land. 12 came back, 10 of them told him, no, too dangerous, too bad, giants are here, it will be a disaster, let's not do that. 2 others, came home and they told him, we should do that. It will be very hard, it will be tough, but we have to do it, the minority. And then God looked at that and he told the 10 that refused, you're going to be punished. 40 years you're going to stay in the desert. This is why Jews left 40 years in the desert, because of these 10 spies. And the 2 others, you're going to enter Israel. You're going to be the chalutzim. You're going to be the first one to enter the land of Israel and to explore, to win the first battles. And what we see today is the fact that people turn back to Israel, turn back, show their back to the Jewish people inside of the Jewish community and outside. And that was a promise of God, giving the Holy Land to the Jewish people. He made it, and God was very upset when he saw that some of them are not respecting what he told them. That's the first story. So we as Jews need to learn that. We see the same, the anti-Zionist Jews. That's extremely bad. Anti-Zionist is against God willing, and he punished those that were anti-Zionist. He punished them. It's written in the book, in the past, and we need to remember that. A few months ago, we read the parasha Yitro, that is a very interesting one, when Moses was in front of a big challenge of management. And then his father-in-law, Yitro, came to him, and he told him, you know, you have a big challenge. How to manage your nation. It's not easy to manage a nation. Probably you should delegate. You have 12 tribes. Maybe you empower your leaders. Maybe you help them building a structure of leadership. And he did that. And that was, my friends, and I wrote an article about that, the first course of leadership in history. So I always say, we brought leadership even to you guys. And now you read books, you build schools, Yale, management schools, kind of. It was in the Torah before you even invent any university, guys. Come on. Hey, yes. But also the 10 Commandments. The first time in history, in the world history, that we brought to the world a sense, a structure, but a spiritual structure. What is wrong, what is not, what is right, what is good and what is bad. Because today we live in a world that everyone looks for wrong and bad, but it is written there. And we received that such a long time ago, to build a foundation of respect, of culture between the nations. And that's also something that the Jewish people brought to the world. I will end by the last contribution of Jews from biblical time to the world, the judges, a legal and justice system. You all hear, and many in the United States, California, social justice movements, right? This guy has forgotten that justice was brought by the judges in the Bible before it was a social justice movement. So when you try to defend other people look at the history, look at the past, where it came from. Justice was founded in the principle of judges in the Jewish history. So when I'm looking at anti-Semitism today, I'm always looking at, have you forgot everything? The modern history, the religious history, the world history, everything has been written. So now if you want to make the world better, it's time to look at the past. To see what was wrong in the past, because our book of histories are full of leaders that haven't took the right choice, and they will be remembered that way. But also, the book of history are full of people that are righteous, those that they fought back, that stood up to hatred, stood up to evil. And we have the choice, and I think that my message to everyone, it's in us. There is no gray zone. It's not a great conflict. It's a black and white conflict. What is right, what is wrong, what is bad, and what is good. And it's time to choose. And the most complicated part is that the good side of history sometimes is the smallest one. But this is where we make change. And this is where your community should be. Like, I'm speaking to a convinced crowd, so it's not fair. But this is our message to the world. You have one choice, good or bad, not to be in the middle. So with this message, I would like to end, and I have 30 seconds, without your clicking, you see? That's good. The answer is in each one of us. To speak about the past, to teach our young generation, to remember them that it was written in the book, and then we can fight anti-Semitism. But when we fight anti-Semitism, we fight for the universe, we fight for the world, to preserve our history, to preserve our identity, and to make the world better for everyone, because this is what the Judeo-Christian value have built, is making the world better, innovative, and respectful for everyone. Thank you so much again for being in Jerusalem.